Kfar and Noah will be here all summer, so if you see their friendly faces, be nice to them and give them a warm Syracuse welcome when you see them first. All right, now for our program, I want to introduce Hadass. Hadass, as many of you know, has been with us since September. Her whole family moved here from Seattle, and she has a great family, 3 kids, and the rest of her family and her parents are living in Israel now. I'll let her speak on behalf of the introduce them.
Everyone, so Brian said everything I wanted to say. First of all, thank you, Brian and Marcy and everyone who took part in this evening. It was very short notice. So this is amazing. Thank you so much for everyone who came. We're very excited to be here. And I want to introduce you to very special people here. This is their first time here in Syracuse. You see that they already locals. Yeah. They didn't even know what this is really. By mistake, like it just happened. Orange. Mommy. So yes, they came all the way from Israel after very, very hard 8 months that they've been through. So I'm very honored and happy to welcome them into the day that are very brave that they are doing it, standing here in front of everyone and speaking in English. So, Ima Baba. Hello, Kulam.
Good evening to the people who don't understand English. Say shalom.
Okay, I stand and speak and very excited. I thank you very much for coming. We are so pleased to be here and very, very, okay. I use my notes because as my grandchildren say, because we are very, very happy to know you, and we're very excited to know the community, the community where our children are living now. And I can thank you very, very much for the warm and so wonderful reception, the welcome you gave them. I apologize in advance for my English. I'll do my best to speak as understandable as possible. As you can imagine, I'm going to talk to you about the most frightening, terrible, and unbelievable experience one can ever imagine. As for now, we are still shocked, profoundly wounded, mourning, and sad. So please forgive me if I get a bit confused. I talk to you tonight about 5 topics. First of all, I would like to introduce ourselves and our family. I'll give you a taste of our region and our kibbutz. You will understand what we lost. I'll share with you what happened to us on the 7th of October, individually and communally. I talk about the rehabilitation process we're going through. It's a very, very long and difficult one. And maybe I'll share with you our dilemmas about future. So I'm Frida. I was born in Mexico 72 years ago. My parental grandparents came from Poland before the war, so my father was born in Mexico. My maternal grandparents came from Poland too, but they were in Paris during the war. My mother was hidden with her 2 sisters somewhere in France for 3 years. And then the family came, as most of the Jews, to the brothers and sisters, and they were in the American continent. As a child, me and my sisters went to the Yiddish school in Mexico, and I wanted to hear it as original as possible because I'm very, very proud of my school. And we also went to Yehuda Bonim for many years. That's why maybe that's why I came to Israel when I was 17 years old. I decided I wanted to study in Israel at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. And I am an occupational therapist, expert in developmental age in the first years of life. After I finished studying, I met Yossi a few years after. He was a kibbutznik in Iran, very close to Kfar Aza, very close to Aza. And we met and we married a few months after. Yossi's parents arrived to Israel from Poland too, to Tel Aviv. They settled there, they got married. And Yossi was born in Tel Aviv. She was agricultural school, Kanot. And maybe it was very natural for him to join the Nahal Brigade and then be a part of a Garin, which has the aim to join a kibbutz or to settle a new kibbutz. So after he was released from the army, he went to kibbutz Miram, where he lived for 25 years. During his first 10 years in Miram, she was a agricultor. He was a specialist in cotton. And afterwards, when we wanted to move out of the kibbutz, he became a salesman because we needed Charlute. So then we left the kibbutz. We didn't want to be kibbutznikim, members of the kibbutz. Kibbutz Kfar Aza was one of the first ones to open a community neighborhood. Means private people could live in the kibbutz. The population was getting older. They needed young people with children, so they opened those neighborhoods, and we were one of the first people to get to Kfar Aza. It's not far from Miram. It was very important for us not to take the children out of the natural in the environment because there were Kfar Aza children that were always very good friends of Miram children. So it was natural to move close to home, as I said. It took us long years to do. Meanwhile, we had 5 children. 2. And at the age of 50, we found ourselves starting a new life as non-members of the kibbutz, as I said, and very close to our kibbutz, close to school, and the environment didn't change. The kids got older, except for Ariel, the youngest. The others didn't want to be in a kibbutz. Each one chose his life. And for today, our family extended, and we have 11 grandchildren. Who can I name already? So Kfar Aza is one of 11 kibbutzim in the Shar HaNegev Regional Council. A very beautiful, prosperous, and flourishing area. This area doubled its population in the last 10 years from 5,000 to 10,000 inhabitants. Thanks to the establishment of those community neighborhoods, and despite the ongoing security risks and many military operations, small or big, that force young people, mainly young couples with children, leave the area temporarily. Also elder people, because they can't stand it. This is the very hard situation that we say in our area is, and Yossi likes to use it a lot, 95% Gan Eden and 5% hell. Okay, Gan Eden. In our area, we are at a very high level of education and culture. We have a strong early education until high school. We have tourism, we have industry, we have agriculture. It's a very rich area in potential in inhabitants, very high potential. All the you have everything, profession. Okay. Sapir College is the biggest college in Israel situated nearby. The only college in the Gaza envelope, and it is located less than 2 miles from Gaza border. Despite mentioned security risk, it has over 8,000 students, mostly live in the kibbutzim. So afterwards, they stay, they get married, and this is one of the ways we grow so much. We have Arab students, Muslims, Christians, Bedouins, whatever you want. Everybody comes to study, and they have the same rights, and we live together. We are location-wise, we are between Ashkelon and Beersheba. And thanks to the train station in Zerot, which is the nearest city, we can easily get to Tel Aviv in 1 hour, looking at the transit, traffic from the window, which is very nice. Okay, I don't see what you can say. Kfar Aza is a kibbutz established in 1957. Its population grew to more than 900 people in the last years as part of the demographic growth of the area. Its economy is based in Kfar industries founded in 1973 and has become one of the most important industries worldwide, creating better and optimized solutions for the plastic industry. Kfar lost 3 of the members of the directive team, professional people, Dorit Barilan, Aviv Kut, and Nadav Goldstein, Zichronam Libracha. We also have agriculture and many small enterprises. The waiting list to be accepted to be a kibbutz member was 3 years in average before October 7th. At that time, we began building a new neighborhood for 45 families, most of them young families. I wanted to see how far we are from the Gaza Strip. This is a photography of kibbutz Kfar Aza from high, and you can see those fields are my favorite place to walk with my dog. I do it especially in Shabbat when I'm free, when I have time. And you can see we are 1 mile from the Gaza fence. So when I look at the window or when I go to walk, I can see the Gaza Strip and the fence. In good days, when I go far, I can see cars driving over there. I always used to say that I live there because I want to welcome peace. People thought we're crazy, people think we're crazy who live there, but I believe this is the best way to think, and I wanted to open my arms and get peace in. So I wanted to see the beautiful kibbutz we have, if this thing will work, of it. And yet, so, Frida, this is a very important spot, and I want to, this is a very opportunity for me to talk with you about Cindy and Egan Flesh, who were our best friends, and I think thanks to them, we went to live in Kfar Aza. In this spot, Cindy and me, you know what girls like to do. We come to see the sunset once or twice a week with our dogs, having the most beautiful time and chatting about life. This bench is very, very close to her house. And it's on this soccer, that's where the bench is. And this is the soccer field where the terrorists came with gliders. This is the entrance, one of the entrances. they used. If you see the right, this house that is showing is Cindy and Eagle's house, which is it's very, very close to this place. They were massacred. They were the last persons to be killed at 5 in the afternoon. Then you can see these beautiful fields around the kibbutz, wheat fields, and you can also see the gardens. I could show you thousands of photos I did, but I think that's enough. This is the next photo is also very important. This is the area. This is called Dor Sair, the youth neighborhood, a special place where youngsters aged in their 20s and 30s live. They form their own communities full of life and people helping each other. It's one of the most important places. And it's very known after the massacre. So if you see Kfar Aza, you see what happened to us in the 7th of October. And let you read by yourself. Whole families murdered, kidnapped, brutalized, their homes turned to ash, our lives to dust. Those who survived, those numerous loved ones, and everything they owned, to one of the most terrible attacks in history. And so we were surrounded by terrorists. They went in for 4 or 5 directions, so they were everywhere in the kibbutz. Talking about ourselves, I have to tell that this was the beautiful scenery where I woke up. We all woke up at 6:30 in the morning. I was getting ready to go to walk with my dog. The dog refused to go out, so we came back and closed the door, and then started the most impressive noise we ever heard, a mixture of missiles, alarms, and gunshots. Nothing like this heard before. Usually we get information and guidelines very, very soon as everything starts. This time there were no news, no announcements, so I understood something very, very bad is happening. Later on, we discovered that the lady whose duty was to send those messages was of the first person massacred 7:15 in the morning while she was waking up in her bed. At that time, the WhatsApp messages started. Terrible, terrible messages talking about terrorists and houses, shouting, eating, breaking, whatever they saw. Haverim were begging for help, for the army or the police to come. Nobody was available. We had no army, no police. At the kibbutzim in our area, we have a first response team called Kitat Konenut. The ones of you that know this. Their job is to stall until the army comes. They are the first one to fight back and protect the communities. But they are not prepared to fight with dozens of terrorists well armed. The protection, nobody imagines that could happen, and they are trained. This is their military service, their soldiers. And they hurried to get to the weapons stock, where the weapons were stocked in the security room. And the terrorists were waiting for them there. We found maps. According to those maps, the terrorists knew exactly which are the strategic places to attack. They even had names and locations of people they wanted to get dead or alive. So that they were, I think they were well organized, but people that know better than me say that they could have been more organized. Our good luck in this very, very bad luck, in this very big tragedy, the good luck was that they weren't so well prepared. Maybe he said they could have done better, something like that. But they weren't so organized. For us, they were super organized because they knew where to go. They knew exactly in what houses they have to look for people. Badly for those who passed away, but for many of those houses are in my street, in our street. And the terrorists were confused and they went and attacked the parallel road, like Cindy and Iga. So you can imagine our feelings, thinking of what could have happened, because our brain always thinks about what could have happened. Those beautiful, wonderful men, 14, they have little children, they are young people. They are 14 in this group, and we lost 7 of them. So you can imagine 7 widows, young, the age of my children, left alone because of their brave men that sacrificed their life. Nobody could imagine that will happen. So they waited on the roof and around the building where they came, and in about 2 hours, half of them were gone. They were asking for help, but nobody could go out. My daughter-in-law is a doctor. She wanted badly to go and help. Their best friend, who was lying like 20 meters from their house, and my son told her, "You have here a little baby, and you know that there are lots of terrorists around, so please think again what we are going to do." And she feels very badly about that, even if she knows what could have happened. So at around 8, more than 20 people were killed. At noon, 62 people were killed. 19 were kidnapped. The army came, but they were not organized. They didn't know what to do and where to go. This was terrible. But I can't have any bad words for the soldiers, because many of them lost their lives trying to save us. We had like 40, 45 soldiers who lost their lives in the kibbutz. There are many others that saved people in kibbutz. The people that were saved, but they know their name, and then they were killed in Aza. So it's like a huge circle. You can't get free of anything. It's like, so thousands of losses. It's impossible to say. The first people to came spontaneously after they heard about the attack were the reserve soldiers, or also soldiers that were in vacation for Sukkot at home, for the Torah, and also ordinary people, great and brave people, just came to volunteer and help. Many members of the kibbutz were saved thanks of the resourcefulness of others who directed forces to save people. Among them is Gali, which is 15 years old. Her father, Tal, lost his life fighting and giving orders until his last breath. He was the commander of the kibbutz of the first response team. Others, people that were not at home, were directing forces from outside, sending messages where to go, how to do. People stayed in the safe rooms for hours, some of them more than 36 hours. Among them, elders, parents with children, they were without water, without food, shaking, hearing the news, not knowing what's going on outside. We know about elder people who were alone at home. We know of people that were waiting for death to come because they were so afraid and so painful. They just wanted to die. There is one lady who said, I could have go outside and tell them to kill me, but the door was taken. Yes? People were out of communication, so the parents and friends were hoping that it is only because have no electricity. They were praying that it's only useless. They don't answer. Despite all this, we know of many, many cases of heroism, courage, and safe end. It's not a happy end, it's a safe end. Every survivor had a terrifying and incomprehensible experience. Until now, almost 9 months after the massacre, this is the main topic of conversation. Everywhere you go amongst us, getting to know every day a new story. Those are the photos. I'll show you the photos of Kfar Aza the day after, as they say. You see the fence, they cut the fence. This is in front of Cindy and Igal's house. The house is behind this tree. Like 1 block away is our bench where we love to sit, and 1 block in the other direction is where we live. So you can see how close we were. The next photo will, at this time, we got from Cindy and Eagle messages from them asking for help, telling the terrorists entered their house and they are trying to open the safe room door. This was their last message. The terrorists shoot through the door and killed Eagle, who was holding the handle, and then they came in and massacred Cindy, according to testimonies we heard from people who went there. See, and this is how the safe room looked after when people came to empty. So the doors are good for rockets. They are not good for to save us from terrorists thirsty of blood. So the terrorists continued their mission. They went into the house, went into the safe room when they killed Eagle, and they Cindy and their little dog. Those are the different houses. We do it quickly because this is a house in my neighborhood. Probably it was attacked, it was destroyed by the Sabah because they were inside terrorists. But it happened after we left. This is our neighbor's house. You can see different things of how it was left. Burned houses. I can't even recognize what houses those are. They were a very beautiful place, and people hold their houses very clean and proper, and they have good taste and beautiful gardens. So that's what was left. This is an important story I want to share with you. This is the house of Hadar and Itai. They were kids taking care of their babies, twins, 10 months old. The twins were left crying. Nobody could approach and take them out. They were they set a base, and to say for the terrorists. The terrorists were waiting. They knew somebody will come and to take the babies, but nobody dared to do it. We talked to their neighbor. He was driven crazy. He couldn't go out and take the babies. They were rescued after 14 hours. And somebody was talking to me about Ofira Long. She's the sister, the mother's sister. They adopted the children. So now they live with the Saba Besafta and a very big family. It's very, very hard to go to pass through their house and see the babies playing and calling Abba, Ima, their aunt. But they are brave people and it took a big responsibility on them, having they themselves 3 little children. They have now 5 boys. And it's a big suffering. The next picture is of it's a famous picture. Everybody has seen it. Those soldiers who were fighters who came to Kfar Aza to help people, and when they saw the halam, the tail, the leftovers of the nice seudat hag they had, and they couldn't stand it. This is a famous photo. I'm sure it happened lots of times. This is our Dor Tza'ir. This is before, and this is after. Big, big destruction. I heard some of you are going or went to Israel. Now everything is clean. So when you see it, it's like a museum. It's you want to see what we're seeing in the photo. There's lots of soldiers who came to take out the bodies to bring to for the funeral. And this is an example of the terrible days we passed. This is a list of October 18, 11 funerals in one day, none of them in Kfar Aza. Families choose where to bury their family members, according, I don't know to what, but this is supposed to be a temporary very kever, how do you say? Okay. Now, we talk about when all started. So this is the list of our friends. Long list. Each name is a wonderful word. You have people in their 20s. The first lady up there is more than 8 years old, a beautiful, active. She went out from her house to pick up the phone her grandson left for her, and she was shocked when she was looking for the phone. Simple activities everyone does in his life. So when all started, Yossi and I decided to go into the mamad, the security room, supposing it will get over very, very soon. We didn't take food, we didn't take anything because we enter and go out freely. But then we understood it's more serious than we imagined. And we managed to take our cell phone, chargers, and the computer to be in touch with the world. We stayed in the room, we were lucky. We stayed only 20 or 21 hours in the room. Others stayed 30, 36. Our children, including Adas and her family, were well informed. At the time all of this was going on, they were almost crazily desperate and worried. We didn't hear news. We were completely paralyzed. Our source of information were the WhatsApp messages. We knew there are terrorists all over the kibbutz, and we didn't know they were around our house. We didn't hear a thing. Those are things we got to know in the last weeks. Battles around our house. We knew from the WhatsApp that everything was happening in the parallel street, and we were waiting in panic. We suppose it's a question of time until they get to our house. I feel a little bit ashamed thinking of how safe I felt when none of our neighbors of the street saw something like terrorists in their houses or going around or hearing them. It was a little bit egoist, and it's the first time I say it loud, but that's the way I felt. Hopefully they won't begin with our street too. We were alive. I think we barely breathe. Can't stop your breathing. And we were sure it's a question of time. We know that it's very, very easy to go into our house. Houses are all open all the time, at night, during the day. They just can't break a window or push the door, and they are inside. Fortunately, we were rescued by soldiers around 3 in the morning, and with all the survivors, we were like 40 families or more, and they took us to a rescue place, walking. We walked like 2 kilometers. Yossi didn't wanted me to take videos, but I took. And this is our dog, Chippy. You can hear my voice, desperate. I was afraid to lose him. We were with the babies, carriages, people living in the house. Wheelchair. And this is the way they took us to the rescue place in a military truck. There were very, very hot days, and we wore sweatshirts because we were filthy, related from tired, without sleep, without nothing. And this picture you see was taken after they ordered to get off the truck because there were Qassam coming, missiles coming. They were alert, so they said everybody to go into the building because there were Qassams on their way. And then they told us to go back on the truck. I said, let's go. What will happen will happen. Why do you bother us so much? But it's clear. It was so not enough what we live until now. Then we have to be afraid of the missile. This is Ariel, our youngest, our baby, and her was Eli with baby Yael. Eli is a medical student. She just finishes her studies. She has to do 3 more months of internship. She wanted to do it in September, October. In October, November. Ariel is a social worker, wanted with mental health people. And Yael was at this time a year and a half old. They live at the other end of the kibbutz, where the chevre, they live, the young people with little children. We were sure they were okay. We didn't dare thinking something was wrong. This was a way of defending our hearts. We knew they ran out of electricity, and we really wanted to see YouTube or what they see, and we didn't bother them with phone calls until 1 o'clock and 6 minutes, when a message entered telling that they are here, we love you all. This is a message who was sent to her family, our family, their friends. I didn't understand what was written in this message. I didn't understand, but my children began to react, writing Ariel, Ariel, like with the admiration sign. But then, after a few seconds, he called me and said, Ida, they are here, save us. We lost our head. We couldn't do anything, but we did. I called the leaders of the kibbutz, asking them for help, knowing that nobody will help them. It's impossible. I couldn't even tell them where they live. I don't have the location. I don't know how to do it. I asked them to send the army. And they were nice. They answered, having hundreds of people on their heads, they answered me, and they promised they will do it. I knew it won't work. Yossi likes to say that we were climbing on the wall. If you ever climb the wall, that's what we're doing. I think I wanted to knock my head on the floor. I was with that please. You can imagine what kind of feeling we had. We didn't even know what happened because no connection. I called the neighbors. They didn't know. They were all closed. One of them told me, I think they put the house in fire because the fire of Ariel burned his house there in a zoo, in a same wall. So when the Mechavlim burned their house, the fire went to the neighbor's house, and this boy was very afraid with three little children by himself, but he answered me and he said, I don't know what happened. I heard them shouting, but I don't know what happened. I see the car open. I don't have any idea what happened. And me, myself, I'm outside. There are Kassamim falling, and I'm alone with my daughter. After 2 hours, 2.5 hours, we got a message, the most wonderful message ever received, that they are on a helicopter on their way to Shiva Hospital. It took a very long time for us to reveal this story. We know they managed to run away from the terrorists who set fire to their little house, but luckily they had no weapons. They only came to steal, and they were trying to get hostages. So you can see their house, their little house. This is their dormitory. This was their bed on where they live. This is a little library they used to block the entrance to the mamad from inside. Then they pushed it out when they wanted to go out. And the black thing is the security room where Yael lives. All the children in our area sleep in the security room because when there is noise, parents go to sleep with the children instead of moving the children. This is a very common thing. Next photo, you can see the only thing that was left is the Simchat Torah flag. Very close to the gas tank they throw on them, which was burning, and fortunately it didn't explode, but it burned the house and their bodies. So, and this is the little Yael's room, black from smoke, heavy smoke. You see her books. One of the books is Habayit Shel Yael, Yael's house. So it's also very significant. And because we love dogs, the dog couldn't be safe because otherwise he was a little bit ill. He had problems, neurological problems. It happened, and he was found dead, lying on the cell phone. He wanted to be close to them until his last moment. It's very touching. I never showed my son. I have a photo of the dog, but I don't want to show it to him. So we knew they were very badly wounded. They were with burns on their limbs. Oh, shafakti. This is another balloon, gas balloon they threw to the shower. They went to the shower to wash their cars because they were to relieve the pain. and the terrorists managed to throw the other dead. I had two gas balloons and this is the second one. She threw all the towels she had there, and they ran away to the kitchen. This is it looks very big, but it's very, very small. This is their living room and the kitchen, and they went to hide behind the little safe, the white one there. When my son saw the terrorists go to one direction, they decided to go to the opposite direction. Fortunately, they went to a direction where not many people live there. It's like an industrial zone. It's the edge of the kibbutz, so nobody was interested in this place. They were hiding, walking, hiding, taking care of the baby. I don't bother you with all these details, but they were very, very brave, and they took the right decision. They had the determination and the courage to save their baby. They took very intelligent decisions, and they had very good luck. They walked and hiked alternately and had good luck not to meet terrorists on their way. After 2.5 hours, as I said, they met the army, and they got help from them. They transferred them to a helicopter that brought forces to the kibbutz and took them to Tel HaShomer. It was a very good luck because this firm center is an expert worldwide, and they saved their life. The rehabilitation process I wanted to talk about. Ariel, Eli, and Yael were taken care at the burn center in Tel HaShomer. It was a very dramatic and painful process for them and for us, knowing they were in real danger. Ariel and Yael were released from hospital after 5 weeks, being 10 days in intensive care unit, sedated and ventilated. Eli was released after 108 days, being more than 50 days sedated and ventilated. She got to the ECMO machine, which is either way, she was in real danger. But thank goodness, she came home after 108 days. Yael doesn't need any rehabilitation therapy besides the fact that she has to wear special pressure bandages to heal the scars. Yes, they use those bandages to avoid the formation of fat or ugly. Ariel and Eli have a rehabilitation program until now. They're in rehabilitation, each one according to their necessities. Wearing special pressure bandages for at least 1 year, if not more. The emotional aspect is very complicated and dependent on many aspects. Yael suffered very much from separation anxiety. Severely wounded, she found herself without her parents in a strange world of changing faces, strange noises, people who did lots of manipulations on her body. This picture was taken by Ziv Koren, one of the greatest photographers in Israel, whose expertise is going to disaster places, and he has thousands of photos from this day, and he was in Kfar Aza, I think at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. He went to near all the he's in contact with lots of people, and he has a wonderful exhibit that's going around the world. And so you see, I met Yael 2-3 days before she wasn't awakened yet, and this is a photography when she was a few days or 1 or 2 days after she was not ventilated and sedated. Yael You see, her four extremities are burned, and her little face is a little bit burned too. As I said, she had lots of anxiety attacks. She stopped talking. She stopped laughing. She didn't want to eat. She didn't want to drink. She had to learn everything, to use her muscles, to clap, stand, walk, play. We found out Yael needs a permanent person to get her support and anchor. That's the way to say anchor. So both grandmothers took the turn 12 hours each. Safta Judith was during the day. I was with her during the night. I kept expressing optimism in every moment. People remind me and say, oh, you were so optimistic. Being alone, I let myself break into pieces. The anguish was unbearable. After breaking, I set away the bad feelings and back to optimism. I couldn't betray my daughter-in-law. I thought to myself, if you don't believe in her, she won't survive. You have to believe in her. So that's what I did. And when I finished breaking to pieces, I said, yeah, Kadima, no other way. As an occupational therapist and expert grandmother, I understood we have to do as much as we can to strengthen Yael's self-confidence, talking about her parents, having them present at any time, showing videos of them, photos. A week before this tragedy, they went to a nice picnic outside. They slept in a camping, so I had fresh, beautiful pictures to tell her and telling her that they both come back. I was taking big responsibility. Luckily, Bemazal, her father was released at the same time as she was released, and he was very cooperative. He was following my advices. We had a very, very great, much luckily, I would say, yes. Bemazal, and Bemazal, and I came back and she joined them at their apartment close to Teva Shomer, and they continue their beautiful family life. All of them get psychology help. Those are pictures that Ziv Koren took. You see her wounded feet. This is after 100 days. So this is while she was in intensive care, the wounds couldn't breathe. Heal. We don't still know why, because of the blood, but it was a long process until now she's suffering from the burn. And see they're meeting in the hospital over there, and this is the first time they both go to see their house. It took 3 or 4 months until so Ariel waited for her to go to the house. He didn't want to go by himself. And this is a happy moment in their apartment in Ramat Gan, playing and being happy together. Yael loves, she has a wonderful equilibrium, and she walks on her father freely. This is one of the first meetings Yael and Ariel had. You see he's not in his best shape, on a wheelchair. And he was trying to get her love again. She accepted to be close to him only if she was with Safta Judith, Safta Frida, Safta Yossi, Safta Moti. It was like it took like 2 or 3 weeks. She had to be sure that he's going to stay with her. When Eli came, it was a little bit easier, but she also wanted to prove that the mother is staying. It was not easy for her. apart from the physical and emotional things they have to go through, they have to cope at the same time with tremendous losses. 62 persons murdered. The hostages that are still in Gaza, they're all friends of them. No house to go back, and many, many dreams and plans that were destroyed. Yossi and me began our rehabilitation 3 or 4 months after the massacre. When we felt the trio can manage by themselves and they are independent. Until then, we lived close to them. We were loyal helpers. We moved into the hotel in Fayim, where the biggest part of the community was displaced. We live there until now in a small hotel room with our dog. Nice. And we have a big, wonderful sea nearby and beautiful nature, so it helps. And that's when we really met face to face the big tragedy. And we also met ourselves. We didn't have time to look at ourselves. Deeply wounded, insecure, without knowing when and how we will renew a normal life. Learning to live with what we have now, not materially, but emotionally. There are many questions about feeling secure, feeling trust. What will be our children's future, the grandchildren's future? What will be Israel's future? And our community. Our community is spread all over. We don't live together because everyone chooses where to go, what to do. We have an opportunity to live, move to kibbutz Ruhama, which is in the same regional council as our kibbutz. They want very, very much to help, so they're training a place where they can put permanent, temporary houses. 190 families accepted the offer out of 250. We hope it will be ready until December, during the fall. Our children, before children and their families were badly affected. They were loyal companions, loyal helpers, and they grew together with the people of Kfar Aza, so they know they're very, very badly affected. All of us believe we can continue, which we believe we could continue with our wonderful peaceful life, but it turns out differently. Now we have to get strength and courage to rebuild our lives. If we survive, may it be to make a better world. Our greatest victory is to see this trio standing after Eli got her degree as a medical doctor in Beersheba. This is our victory, and we are so proud of all of them because they are a team. You can't see it otherwise. They are a real strong team. I am happy I had the opportunity to talk to you. If you have any questions, you're invited to do it. Momento rega. So I hope I passed the message, telling you who we are, where we live, what we went through on October 7th, we as individuals and we as a community. How hard and difficult and long is our rehabilitation process, and the dilemma for the future. But as I said, we survived, may it be for a better world. And you see our family, Ma. This is our family. There are 2 babies missing. Zosdi, whom you know, who was in process of coming to the world, and Yael, who was dreaming of being processed. It took time. So this is the Golan family. Thank you very, very much.
No, audio.
It's not obvious, and I really thank you. Now I feel so comfortable knowing with whom my children live. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Not used to sit on a stage without the stage to say something. So, in English, I want to tell you something about what happened in Kfar Aza, which we didn't talk about it. It's a war, absolutely war, but it's a different war than the other wars before. In the 8 first hours, in the October 7, it was a war between Hamas, which are terrorists, and civilian people, not army. Just after 8 hours, 9 hours, or 10 hours, first soldier units come inside Kfar Aza, and start to fight. It was a couple of units which go inside together without any program for all of them that make a big revolution or balagan, chaos. So sometimes one unit fight other unit without that they know, because a part of the terrorists had the Israeli uniform. And then what they do, they go to their houses in the morning and they say that it's army, and you see the color of the uniform, and you understand maybe it's Israeli army, but it doesn't work so much. I want to tell you that in Kfar Aza died 31 soldiers, which 95% of them are officers. And to finish with the terrorists in Kfar Aza take 4 days. Which means it's really a war. 4 days, day and night, and they fight in Kfar Aza because they turn over in the kibbutz all over. Was stories about people give you, for example, a woman with 2 kids sit in the safety room, and suddenly 2 terrorists open the door. The first one come to shut, so the second one stopped him and said, "We are Muslims, we are not kill children." So we didn't kill them, but in case of that, we go to the kitchen, sit and make a meal. It happened a couple times. It was a story about a family, parents and 3 kids, which sit together in the bed in the safety room. The terrorists come inside and kill all of them without any question. Was another stories, but I don't want to tell it because when I start to talk about it, I start to cry. So, was something unbelievable. Unbelievable. We didn't know things that happened around our house till 2 or 3 weeks ago or months ago. Because every day you met somebody that you didn't see in a month or 2 months, and they start to talk about something that happened. It's happened around your house. In our kibbutz, people build steps to climb up to the roof outside the house. So the terrorists climb up to the roof and sit on the roof, and everyone that he saw, they killed. That's what happened near the hotel, the neighborhood for the young people. They sit on the roof, and every soldier would come. I think that I will finish. And we really live in Shpaim, but we are feel like we are there. The picture that you saw, the picture will go with the dog, and that's what I feel. I saw pictures of Kosovo. That happened in Kosovo also. So we have no place to come back. Our kibbutz is closed, and it's an army property. We cannot go inside. It will take between 2 or 3 years till they will build again everything. And till now, we don't know exactly to where to go. But we know that our children is right. They're healthy and we're happy. Thank you.
So we're gonna open up to questions. There's a microphone at the back, for those that are a little bit